on this edition of How to Do That.
We're taking out this old toilet and going to replace it with this newer, much more efficient one. Stick around.
Hey there, Mr. Schmuck. What's the problem? Oh, having troubles with your toilet, eh? Well, have you looked in the tank? Maybe something came loose. Oh, that can't be good. Yep, looks like you're going to need a new one of those. Let's see how to do that.
Now, before we get started, let's talk about some of the things you'll need to do before you tear out that old toilet. As with any project, good preparation and planning is necessary for success. Be sure to read all the instructions that come with your new toilet, and if you have any doubts or questions, consult a licensed professional before moving forward. So to get started, here are some of the tools I suggest having on hand. First thing you're going to need is a tape measure. Then you're going to need a small adjustable wrench, or you could just use a pair of pliers, channel locks, or even a vice grip if that's all you've got. Then get yourself a small level like this one. And you're going to need some caulking. Make sure it's bathroom-grade caulking and mildew resistant. Get yourself a putty knife. A disposable one like this works great. You're going to want a roll of toilet paper, some rubber gloves, an old rag or t-shirt, and a small can or even a bowl. And you might want to get some shims just in case your floor isn't quite level. Another thing to consider is getting someone to help with lifting the old toilet out and setting the new bowl. These can be a bit heavy and a little awkward. The last thing to think about before starting, if you plan on painting your bathroom in the near future, now might be a good time to take on that project, as you will have easy access to the wall behind the toilet. All right, looks like we're ready to get started.
Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is take some measurements. Most toilets are fairly standard, but just in case, it's a good idea to measure from the back wall to the bolts. This way, when you go to purchase your new toilet, you can give these measurements to your home supply person so they can make sure you purchase the right one for your installation. Now, once you have your new toilet home, it's time to remove the old one. The first thing you're going to need to do is turn off the water supply to the tank. Then flush the toilet. Hold the handle down until most of the water is drained out of the tank. There should still be some water left in the bottom of the tank, and you can easily remove this with a sponge or soak it up with some paper towels. If there's still water left in the bowl, remove that as well. And you might want to wear rubber gloves when doing this. Okay, now that the water is removed, you can unscrew the water supply line from the tank. Remember, there's still going to be some water in the line, so use an old coffee can or a small bowl to dump the water in. Now that the water supply line is removed, you can use an adjustable wrench and remove the nuts from the closet bolts on either side of the bowl. Remember the old rule, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Once the nuts are off, your toilet is ready to be lifted up. Okay, so here's the deal. I don't actually have video of me lifting the toilet up off the flange. And the reason being is because I was attacked by ninjas. That's right. Ninjas. Ninjas attacked me, came in, and erased that portion of the video. Wait, you don't believe me, do you? Okay, I've got evidence. Okay, so I'm minding my own business when all of a sudden I'm surrounded by ninjas, right? So, luckily I'd stretched out that morning. I do that. It's kind of my normal morning routine, stretch it out. And so I was able to dispatch these guys fairly quickly. Watch this part. Okay, so that's what happened. Seriously, that's what happened. But it's not a big deal. I mean, once the nuts are off, it's easy to take that thing up. Just kind of rock it back and forth. That'll break the seal of the wax ring on the flange, and then just lift it up. Now, it's a little bit heavy and a little bit awkward, so you might want to get some help. If you're by yourself and you can't lift the whole thing up, go ahead and take the tank off the back. It's simple, just 2 bolts underneath, and that should lift right off for you. When you lift it up and you set it down, you might want to set it in a shower or a bathtub because there's still going to be some water left in the unit, and that'll allow that to drain out so you don't carry it through your house and mess up your carpet and floors and all that stuff. Okay, let's get back to the installation. Now that the old toilet is removed, place a rag in the hole to prevent any sewer gases from coming out. And then take your putty knife and start removing the old wax ring from the flange. Once that's done, this would be a good time to inspect your floor and make sure there isn't any water damage or weak spots. Check the water supply line and valve for drips or leaks, and check the flange for cracks or broken edges. If anything needs repaired or replaced, now is the time to do it before moving on. If there is any old caulking on the floor, remove that and clean the area thoroughly. This will help make sure that the new caulking will adhere properly. Okay, now we've checked everything and we're ready to install our new bowl. Check your new bowl for any cracks or chips. Check the underside and make sure it's in good shape also. With the bowl upside down, place the new wax ring on the toilet like this. Now, place a bead of caulking all along the outside rim. This is going to help fill any small voids between the bottom of the bowl and the floor. Place the new water closet bolts into the flange, centering them as close as possible. Once the bolts are in place, gently flip the bowl over, being careful not to touch the caulking, and then set the bowl over the bolts. Once the bowl is down, apply gentle pressure to help seat the wax ring. Now, I don't suggest rocking the bowl back and forth as it could break the seal. Just apply some even weight by sitting on the bowl. Check around the base of the bowl for any large gaps. Now's the time to use your level and check to make sure the bowl is level in both directions. If you have any large gaps or the bowl isn't perfectly level, you may want to add some shims to bring it up to level. Once that's done, you can put the washers and nuts on. Again, follow the directions that come with your toilet. Now, you want to be careful here. Remember, this is a type of china, and it will crack easily. When tightening the bolts, you're just securing the toilet from moving or wiggling around. You are not trying to draw it to the floor. You just want them snug. Also, when tightening the bolts, it's a good idea to go from side to side, a couple of turns on one side and then a couple of turns on the other side. Once the toilet feels firm, stop. If you need to trim your bolts, use the hacksaw and trim the bolts to the top of the nut. And then just add your decorative caps. Now, we can install the new tank. Most new toilet kits have the flushing unit already installed in the tank. If yours doesn't, then you'll probably have to purchase it separately and install that per the instructions before proceeding. With the tank upside down, install the rubber gasket if it isn't already installed. Gently place the tank on the bowl. Now that the tank is installed, attach the water supply, and turn on the water. Now you want to check for any leaks, and go ahead and try flushing the toilet. Look around the base of the bowl and make sure everything is dry. If everything looks good, apply a bead of caulking around the base. Install the toilet seat. and then just place the lid on the tank and you're done.
Again, if you have any questions or unsure about anything, consult a licensed professional. But as you can see, replacing your toilet is a fairly straightforward process and requires minimal tools. It's easily doable by most do-it-yourselfers. And now you can say that you know how to do that. For today's quick tip, we replaced our old toilet with a more efficient one, and that's going to save us money on our water bill in the long run. But if you don't want or need to replace your toilet, here's some things you can do to make your existing toilet more efficient.
First, check and make sure there are no leaks or drips around your water supply line. Even the smallest leak or drip could add up to gallons of wasted water over time. It could also rot your floor or cause unhealthy mold or mildew to grow. Next, check the flapper inside the tank and make sure it's sealing properly. One way to check this is to add some food coloring to the tank. See if the color appears in the bowl. If it does, it most likely means that the flapper is not sealing properly and needs replaced. Lastly, to help save water, you could add a brick or a large rock like this into the tank. This will take up space so that the tank fills with less water. Just make sure it doesn't interfere or block anything on the inside.
These simple tips will help you stop literally flushing money down the toilet. And now you know how to do that.